Good afternoon, Southwest Florida. I'm Bri Walling. This Naples Herald Lunch Break is sponsored by our friends at Fusillo Kia of Cape Coral. This afternoon, we'll tell you about meteorologists watching the possible development of a tropical system in the Gulf, what the Supreme Court's decision means for sports betting in Florida, and more. Today is Tuesday, May 15th, and this is the Lunch Break. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season doesn't officially start for another 2 weeks, but a system off the west coast of Florida has meteorologists watching closely to see if the season is going to come early. But conditions appear to be hostile to giving a preseason tropical system. This morning, the National Hurricane Center gave the system a 10% chance of generating into a tropical system, noting the disorganized system hasn't shown any signs of organization or gaining tropical characteristics over the weekend and into Monday, when it had a 20% chance of development. The odds are even lower now as conditions are even less habitable for the tropical development. Still, forecasters warn that the system is likely to dump rain through Florida and the southeastern U.S. over the next few days. The low-pressure system has been influencing southwest Florida's weather the last couple of days, leaving gloomy skies for much of Sunday, and the National Weather Service recorded about an inch of rain on Monday throughout much of the area. Though the official start date of hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean is June 1st, tropical disturbances can form at any time. Last year, Tropical Storm Arlene became the first named storm of 2017 when it formed in the open ocean waters in April, while two named storms, Hurricane Alex and Tropical Storm Bonnie, formed before June in 2016. A U.S. Supreme Court decision viewed as a major win for the gambling industry opened the door to sports betting in states across the country, but Florida almost certainly won't be one of them, at least for now. Monday's decision in Murphy versus the NCAA, a case the state of New Jersey brought as a challenge to a law known as the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, found that a federal ban on state-sanctioned sports betting as unconstitutional. As the Supreme Court considered the case, some states filed legislation to authorize lucrative sports betting in anticipation of federal law being struck down. But in Florida, two major obstacles, a ballot initiative and the need for a special legislative session, stand in the way of joining states such as Mississippi and Pennsylvania, which have cleared the decks to allow gamblers to bet on professional and collegiate sports teams as soon as the NFL season begins in the fall. A proposed constitutional amendment on the November ballot will allow Florida voters to decide if they want to control decisions about gambling, something now largely left up to the legislature. If Amendment 3 passes, voters statewide would have to sign off on future gambling expansions. Palestinians observed a strike Tuesday to mourn dozens killed by Israeli troops in a mass protest on the Gaza border, the single deadliest day there since a 2014 war and part of a high-stakes campaign by Gaza's Hamas rulers to break a decade-long border blockade. In Monday's protest, Israeli forces killed 58 Palestinians and injured more than 2,700. In jarring contrast, the U.S. held a festive inauguration ceremony for a new U.S. embassy in contested Jerusalem just a few miles away. The juxtaposition of bloodshed on the Gaza border and festivities attended by a high-powered Trump administration delegation briefly drew attention to the plight of Gaza and its 2 million people. The high casualty toll also revived international criticism of Israelis' use of lethal force against unarmed protesters. At the same time, the opening of the embassy, condemned by Palestinians as blatantly pro-Israel, further dimmed prospects of what President Trump had once touted as plans to negotiate the Mideast deal of the century. In recent days, there had been negotiations between Egypt and Hamas, presumably on easing the blockade in exchange for ending the protests. Hamas had said protests would continue in a weekly format, but it was not clear if it would be able to maintain momentum during the fasting month of Ramadan, which begins this week. Protest organizers said Tuesday was set aside for funerals in an apparent attempt to lower expectation of another mass protest later in the day. And the UN Security Council planned to meet today to discuss the violence, though it was not clear what might come out of the session. And that was a lunch break for today. I'm Bri Walling. For your twice daily news fix, head over to the Naples Herald YouTube channel and subscribe. Leave us a comment to let us know your thoughts on the news or what you'd like to hear about. The lunch break airs Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. right here at naplesherald.com. And don't forget to check out our morning report that also airs Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.